The best comedy of the year is now out. Let's talk about it.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, tripped over my penis.
Saturday Night tells a story of the unhinged 90 minutes leading up to the first broadcast of Saturday Night Live. Before we get into talking about this movie, I kind of want to share my opinion on the actual Saturday Night Live show. And I'm actually quite amazed that a show like this is still on air, even though it's kind of fallen off the cliff in terms of, writing and with some of its cast. I'm not really a big fan of some of its cast right now. Sure, I still enjoy some of the sketches from time to time, but I'm never really wanting to tune in for the whole hour and a half. Like, nothing's really made me want to tune in for the whole time. I really still do love the Weekend Update, though. I think that hits all cylinders. But I just think it's just not as amazing as it ever was, and I don't think that it ever will get to those standards ever again. That's sad, but that's just the reality here. The only serious laughs that I've gotten out of Saturday Night Live these past 2 years is when Ryan Gosling hosted recently. I think we can all agree that that was like the best episode that we've seen in a long time. But as I said, I think it's still very cool that we get a live show like that with sketches in this new age of just streaming shows taking over. Now to the movie though, I found Saturday Night to be the best comedy of the year so far. I don't think that's really hard to do, but I've yet to see Anora, which I've also heard is quite funny. But besides that, I don't really see any other comedies coming out for the rest of the year even coming close to this one. I actually read a little bit of the Saturday Night Live book before watching this to learn a little bit of the information and behind the scenes stuff that happened in 1975 leading up to this first show and about the first show, but still this movie did surprise me with some facts that I didn't even know yet. I will say this movie will work for you if you are a huge fan of Saturday Night Live, and if you aren't familiar with Saturday Night Live, I think you will still have a fun time. It's a big crowd pleaser that really makes you want to go watch it again. I thought it was awesome on all fronts. Usually I don't do this, but I kind of want to talk about the cast first because it's what makes the movie so special. This is a very large ensemble, and maybe it could even win Best Ensemble at the next SAG Awards. I'm going to talk about my favorite cast members because we could be here for a long time if I decide to talk about every single one. Before I get to my favorites though, I do want to give a shout out to Finn Wolfhard because I remember like the first stills that came out of this movie, he was in one of the stills. Everyone thought he was going to have like a big role, but he's basically just in the movie standing outside Rockefeller Center, just handing out flyers for Saturday Night. And I thought that was funny. He's literally there like the whole time in that same spot, just doing the same thing for the whole movie. Now on to some of my favorites. I really thought Gabriel LaBelle stole a show here, and that's a given because he's kind of the lead of the movie, playing Lorne Michaels, one of the main creators of Saturday Night. And Gabriel LaBelle, if you don't know him yet, he was in Snack Shot earlier this year, which is a great movie, and he was the lead of The Fabelmans. He does a great job here. You kind of see him just descend into madness throughout this movie because in the first half, he's like fine with everyone goofing around. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. The second half, he's kind of he's kind of done with it. He's kind of done. He's trying to get everything on track because in the beginning of this movie, you see that Saturday Night is just, it's too much. There's too much happening. There's too much in the show. It's an hour and a half show, and he's got so many sketches and just kind of things going on here that he has 3 hours at that point. And so he has to get it down to an hour and a half, and he's stressing out, but I think he does a great job with this. Another big standout would be Corey Michael Smith, who I'm not familiar with, but he plays Chevy Chase, and we all know Chevy Chase is a bit of a problematic guy. I guess more of a largely problematic guy, but he's also a very funny guy, especially, in the olden days in the 70s and 80s and all that. He does a great job playing Chevy Chase. He has a lot of standout scenes. Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd was really great. I kind of wanted a little bit more of him, just like Ella Hunt, who played Gil Radner. I wanted more of her, but her scenes that she's in, I think she does a great job. Matt Wood as John Belushi was terrific, and Nicholas Braun playing Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson was really funny. His impression of Andy Kaufman was just hilarious. It was making me laugh every time he was doing it. And when he was Jim Henson, it was also really funny because a running gag in this movie was just Jim Henson trying to get some scripts and trying to get some pages to read, but everyone was just messing with him. The cast just kind of bullied him and his Muppets. Did some very bad things with his Muppet characters that I thought that was really funny. I love this whole cast. Another reason why I fell in love with this movie was just from the intro itself, because you start like right outside of Rockefeller Center with Finn Wolfhard kind of handing out the flyers. Then you have Gabriel LaBelle kind of going inside the building, and as Lauren, and it actually had like two big one take scenes at the beginning, and I love those one take scenes. Joker 2 also had one big one. I think they're just fantastic and really impressive to put in a film. It also works really here because it's about Saturday Night Live, which is about like just sketches that are sometimes in one take and sometimes go off the rails. I thought the pacing was quite brilliant because it did well at showing how stressful these last 90 minutes to air were. They were still planning and writing sketches all through those 90 minutes. The show, as I said, was 3 hours long, 3 hours long, and it needed to be an hour and a half, and so they had to cut a lot. No one knew if the show was going to be a success. No one knew if they're going to go live about 10 seconds before. It's a very hectic movie, and I was wondering if the runtime was actually going to line up to like the 90 minutes of runtime, 90 minutes till showtime. And it kind of does. Like when they tell you it's like 45 minutes to air, that's about how long is left of the movie. I love when they do stuff like that. It's one of those films that kind of whips by and you wish you could have stayed here with these characters for longer, for more than 90 minutes of getting ready. Like, just give me the whole last week of them rehearsing. That would just be really cool. It's also very funny and had me laughing a lot. Some of these jokes go by so fast that you'll miss them because people are talking really fast and talking over each other. And what's really funny about this one is that there was an NBC kind of standards lady in there during the last 90 minutes. And she was talking about kind of cutting specific words because too vulgar, and she kind of wanted to make it, more TV friendly for the studio, and they just didn't care. They were just yelling, "I am Satan" at her, and they were like, get out, we don't need you, get out of here." And there's a pretty shocking scene with J.K. Simmons that had my mouth wide open. I was like, did that actually happen? There's a lot of fun facts that we learn on this journey, and some are very weird and odd, and you couldn't quite believe them. Like, one is that Lorne Michaels and Rosie Schuster are married, but she's also dating Dan Aykroyd, but still Lauren and Rosie never got a divorce until later. So it's like a weird, odd love triangle, but I guess that's the 70s for you. But they still are like childhood friends, so I guess you could say that their marriage is like a friendship in the way of the end. It's odd, but it's the 70s. One of the funniest parts of this movie is that half of the film is just them trying to find John Belushi to get him to sign his damn contract, and he just wanders off and starts skating at the Rockefeller rink in his damn bee costume. He had some anger issues back in the day. Holy crap, he really got mad. Let's talk about some Oscar chances for this one. It probably won't get into any acting categories, but I thought Gabriel Bell was excellent, probably my favorite performance. If you haven't checked out my recent Oscar prediction video, go check it out. But as of right now, I think Saturday Night Live could get nominated for Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Editing, and maybe Best Score, because I really do like the score and think the percussion works a lot. So I have it for like 4 nominations as of right now. Overall, I found Saturday Night to be the best comedy of the year, and I really loved almost every aspect of this look at the crazy events that unfolded during the 90 minutes leading up to the first broadcast. The whole ensemble is brilliant, while Jason Reitman has his best directing to date, keeping everything on track while it being overly hectic in the best ways possible. Saturday Night gets a strong 9 out of 10 from me. If you've seen the movie, leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm on the road to 800 subscribers, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.